Hey, I'm Scott with Etchus, and this is Jon. Say hello.
Hello.
So, many of you might have seen on the Impala SS forum that we've got a white 96 Roadmaster wagon that we're going to do an LS swap into, and we've decided to kind of document this. We've done some LS swap work in the past, but never on a B-body, and we wanted to kind of document the journey as we went through this so you could kind of see what trials and tribulations we go through. We've already got the motor out of the donor car, and in a couple of weeks we'll be pulling the motor out of the wagon, and we're just going to kind of take you through this. So follow along, see if you can keep up. So here is the motor that we pulled out of the donor. We'd actually found a 93 Chevy Caprice that had an LS swap done for sale here locally in Dallas, and we went and checked it out. We got after the car, and it worked out pretty cool. It's already been pulled. My boy Smoot out in Atlanta got the chassis rolling with a freshly rebuilt rear end. But this is a 5.3 LS Vortec truck motor out of a 2003 Suburban, and it's got the 4L60E on it. It's got some real mild work. We found in the trunk of the Caprice that the car actually had a little bit of cam work done, and apparently dynoed 315 horse to the rear wheel, which is pretty exciting. When we picked the car up, it ran and drove and made it home. We were told that a guy by the name of The Wizard put this thing together, and after going through it, we learned that he was not very wizardly. So we're going to start back here to get the tranny loose. There's 7 bolts that hold it to the block. We've got the 2 bottom ones out. I think there might be one more out. John's removing the oil dipstick tube right now. As you can see, that just kind of came out of its home. This transmission has been drained of fluid when we pulled the motor out of the car, or at least we think most of it anyway. So we should be good to go. And once we're done, we'll get this thing separated and get this engine up on a stand. So now that we've got everything separated, we're gonna get the motor up, get it on a stand. We were told that this tranny had been rebuilt, and by the looks of this converter, it looks like that might actually be the case. So we might have gotten lucky on that. So we're gonna go ahead and get her up on the engine stand, and then we'll show you what it looks like. So John's going ahead and getting the mount for the engine stand attached to the block. This is a very good idea. It should make it a little bit easier when we go to try and actually put it on the stand. So now we're going to pull the valve covers off, take a look at everything in here, and see what we're working with. But so far so good. Everything's kind of cooperating this evening. No complaints. All right, so we got everything off the valve covers. Now we're gonna pop the valve covers off and see what we're looking at. Vanna White, would you like to do the honors? Yes, no, maybe?
Maybe. And there we have it.
See what we got. It looks pretty good. That they said this motor had been torn apart and put back together by the Wizard. So considering everything else that we've found on here so far, I'd say, what do you think, John? Probably a little bit suspect as to...
In all honesty, there were no zip ties holding the valve covers on, so that's a good sign.
And the bolts barely were as well, so that's +2.
And this side, beautiful.
It looks about the same.
Looks like it actually was going through, which is a good sign.
So hopefully they torqued everything to spec, unlike they did with everything else on the block here. And we'll dive in a little bit deeper.